Tonight we're going to talk about individual behavior. One thing that's very important is to have self-awareness, to have an idea of what are your personality traits, beliefs, emotions, attitudes, perceptions, and appreciate how your patterns can affect other people. So, two ways to be able to understand and yourself and to have a self-awareness is to solicit feedback, to ask people about how you did, what they think. Other is to use self-assessment instruments that will give you some insight into your attributes. So self-assessment, feedback. Job satisfaction, positive attitude towards your job. If you like your job, you will do well. If you don't like your job, you will not do well. So find a job that you like. Organizational commitment is important, and managers want the benefits of loyal, committed employees. This is an assessment to rate your job satisfaction. Please complete it and post the score on the discussion board. Perception. Cognitive process we use to make sense of our environment. We all have perceptual distortions. Two people can look at the same item and see it totally differently. Impacted by stereotyping. Halo effect. Somebody does something good in one field and we think that they're a great person, but we don't know what the rest of their life is like. For example, a terrific athlete we might think is a role model, but after he gets done his athletics, he goes home and beats his wife. So we have to be careful about the halo effect. Perceptual defense, protecting oneself against ideas that are threatening. Attributions, judgment we make about a person's behavior. Those attributions can be because the person is Latin, because they're short, because they're overweight. We have to be careful about judging a book by its cover. All right. So we observe, we screen information, and then we organize it. So in these three, can you see the dog? If you look to the right, you see the old woman. If you look to the left, you see the young woman, depending on what you see as the color of the hair. How many blocks? Okay. So how accurate is your perception? Please also complete this instrument and post the score on the discussion board. Attributions. These are biases. There's lots of biases that affect our attributions. Underestimating the influence of external factors. Self-serving, when we give ourselves credit or too much credit for a job that we believe is well done. Personality traits that everybody likes to have. Extrovert, agreeable, conscientious, stable, open to new experiences. 5 big personality factors. This should be done in class, but do this yourself just to get an idea. So attitudes and behaviors are influenced by personality. Locus of control. Whether we think success or failure is based on ourselves or outside forces. For example, my son comes to me and tells me he's going to fail Japanese. And I said, why? And he says, the teacher doesn't like me. So he's placing the locus of control on the teacher, not on whether or not he studied hard enough to get a good grade. Authoritarianism, power and status differences. Machiavellianism. Machiavelli wrote perhaps one of the most famous management books called The Prince. And he observed how people in power, princes, kings, counts, used their power and their authority, and whether it was successful or not successful. A small paperback book. You definitely should have this on your reading list. You all should know what is The Prince and who is Machiavelli. Different problem-solving styles. Measuring of locus of control. Please also complete this instrument and post your score on the discussion board. Mock, this is for your own personal interest. Different types of problem-solving styles. Look at these, see where you fit. Emotions. We all have emotions. Cannot deny that we have emotions. and you can't separate people from their emotions. Good managers will pay attention to people's emotions. Some people are what we call thick-skinned. They don't get offended easily. They can take criticism. Other people are sensitive and emotional and can't take criticism. So a good manager has to know what is the particular style of that individual. Negative and positive emotions. Emotional intelligence. Now people are giving fairly high importance to emotional intelligence as opposed to intellectual intelligence. So people like individuals that are self-aware, are able to manage themselves, are social, and able to have relationships. Basic principles of self-management: clarity of mind, clarity of objectives, organized system. You should all have a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, and a 20-year plan. Ancient Irish proverb: if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. So you need to know where you're going, and you need to know which road you need to take to get there. Because if you want to be somewhere in 5 years, you probably have to put together the necessary components this year, next year, the following year. This is extremely important for your individual success. This is a nice technique for your productivity. Stress and stress management. Work-related stress. So, first of all of us have stress. If you didn't have stress in your life, you'd be dead. Stress is what makes us keep going, moves our molecules, gets our blood flowing. So we all need to have some stress. What we don't need is distress. When the level of stress becomes too high, then it becomes distress. And distress can have very negative consequences physically on individuals. Distress will break you down physically. Challenge stress. Good stress helps challenge us and increases our focus. Stress that is counterproductive, too much work, no direction, no clear goals. So stress helps us to be alive, to move forward. Too much stress, distress